Yeah, people. Welcome back. You don't know Nicara Media was out here again. Prem Podcast, episode 10. One of the best Premier League show, to review the Premier League, what's going on over the weekend, man. People, bless up with yourself. I had a long weekend. Went to see that Reggae Boy game, a really good game. Proud of the Reggae Boys again. June 0-0 with Guatemala, very experienced Guatemala team. But, today is the Prem Podcast. I'm the solo guy over here today. My co-host Daniel, is unavailable today. What a time to be unavailable, Daniel. Your team just played their best game, probably in the last decade. Chelsea best game for a long time. They I don't think Chelsea can play another game in 7 days. Good thing it's an international break. Where the players going to jets off and go enjoy some time off, with them family, whoever is playing, in the CONMEBOL South American World Cup qualifier, players over there get England called up and all that. But yeah, very excited game today, man. For Chelsea, I'm so proud of Chelsea. How they're playing. Chelsea looks like they want to play all the big teams every week. Every 3 days, as they since the season started, they've been playing really well, to be honest, against stronger opponents, and they show their class. I never think that Chelsea is a weak team. Got weak players. Even last season when they were under Frank Lampard and Thomas Tuchel and all those real good managers. They have real good players, but players are the tactics. Something is not going right at the moment at Chelsea. But today shows that Chelsea team has a lot of quality. They have a lot of fighting spirit. They have that tenacity to come back in big games. And if they can do that against the defending champions, Manchester City, not many teams, can do what they did, drew 4-4. How many teams can score 4 goals on Manchester City, and can say, yeah, they get a draw, but it's been a long time since Manchester City themselves concede 4 goals in the Premier League, but couple big results, around the ground, Everton, got that shocking result, at Sellers Park, Sheffield United, man, got that result at the Amex, 1-1, came back to draw that game, own goal. Brighton scored both goals there. Brighton scored both goals on the day, but yeah, that's a big point for Sheffield. Luton Town almost grabbed that point at Old Trafford, but the Iceman, Victor Lindelof from Sweden, got that goal, and United won that game. But how am I going to leave this one out? Spurs get slapped in them face 2 times, since the week of start, as the wheel, start to fall off for big Ange boys, couple players missing, and yet another 3 points is missing, for the side in London, the white side, but people, bless up on yourself, thanks for supporting the Media's channel, keep on doing that, keep pushing the videos, out there and never stop. You like all the videos, it help recommend to other people to watch the channel, but I'm going to start off, the episode 10 Prem Podcast. I'm going to start off, the Prem Podcast, with the big game of the week. Chelsea drew 4-4 at the Bridge, at home against Manchester City. To be honest, man, I was watching this game. It was a good thing, this game was really excited, to be honest, because I'm so tired, I was, being strong, to keep up, just to watch the game. But yeah, really good game, to be honest. A couple of calls, especially that one, that ball went out. That ball went out. That even that Erling Haaland penalty. To be honest, I don't think that's a penalty. To be honest, I don't think in a million mile away that's a penalty, because when you really look at it, both players were grabbing each other's shirt, so I don't see why the referee. I don't think I think initially it wasn't the referee. I think they told him, that, check it, that's a penalty, and initially he just gave it, but some big things been happening, over the last week or two in the Premier League, when it comes on to, refereeing decision in the Premier League. I don't know why English referees, they are so poor. They use a monitor different than all, teams in the Italian Serie A are, teams in the Spanish La Liga, use the VAR monitor. Everyone uses the VAR monitor, different, but the English referee, they've been woeful. They've been woeful since this arrived, in the Premier League. So they're just not getting it right. Sometimes they take too much time, making one decision, you know. But yeah, the big man, on farm today, Erling Haaland, he scored a brace, Thiago Silva, Raheem Sterling, Cole Palmer, the ex-Manchester City player, he was at the club for 15 years, before he leave Chelsea, scored on his old team. Raheem Sterling scored on his old team, after 7 years. Thiago Silva, I think, is the oldest centre half to score in the Premier League. I think he's the oldest overall, I think the last man on that record, I think it was Ryan Giggs 2013, just before he retired. I think he scored that goal. I think it was in February or March. Yeah. But yeah, Thiago Silva, legend in the game, big man, for AC Milan, for Paris Saint-Germain, for Chelsea, and for the Brazilian national team. He's still a Brazilian player, at the national level. I don't know if he's going to go to the next World Cup, which is going to be in a few years from now. But the man, the Senegalese, Jackson, got that goal. Jackson has been really good for the last, probably say, a week or so now. He's been playing really good. But that goal that he scored, that's the type of goal when you see a striker, scoring those type of goals. That means, is he's getting back that right attitude to score, because that's a striker goal. Rebound, ball come back out, and he's the first one to react to that and get that goal. But yeah, let's see what's going on right here. Yeah. So yeah. The Spanish, Rodri. Rodri always comes up with some type of big goals. This player is probably is the best CDM right now in the game. In the world. I can't see another CDM who is better than him right now. Since Casemiro, that transfer to United, and he's been playing a little bit under par as usual. He used to play at Real Madrid, but Rodri always have some big goals in him. He always have some big goals in him. But I saw a defensive error in the game today. With Chelsea and Manchester City. I think it was Reece James. I think it was Reece James and Disasi, that I think that I'm not sure if it's the error that Akanji scored. He was left in the box. You can't leave a man in the box just like that. You're always going to get punished. But it's Chelsea been poor, defensively, to be honest, since the season started. But you could see that they kind of finding back their mojo, they're scoring goals. But as I said earlier, Chelsea just need to play all the big teams, for the all 38 games in the Premier League, and they will probably finish in the top 7, top 6 this season. But whenever they play small teams, Chelsea been woeful. I think they lose at home against Nottingham Forest, lose at home to Brentford, to Aston Villa. Games like that. Games like that. They drew another exciting 2-2 draw, with Arsenal. But the smaller teams just always giving them problems, But Manchester City, I think Manchester City, I think they, for the last, give you a little stats, for the last, Manchester City six, they played 6 games in our competition. They won 5, in the last month, but the last 4 previously, they lose 3 of those games. And it seems like there's a little glitch right there for Manchester City in the Premier League, to be honest. But you can't worry about City because this team is always we call a late bloomer when it comes on to league football. Last season, I think last season between January and May, just before the season end, Manchester City won, I think 17. They won 17 games during that run to win the league title after pin back Arsenal and only lose 3 games and drew 2 games. So and in that run they have a 10 consecutive win in the Premier League in that run. I think just before they lost that last game of the season, when they already won that title, when they play away to Brentford the last game of the season, 1-0. But this is a team always find the right type of form when it comes on to the last 3 months of the league leave. So can't really worry about Manchester City. They will be right there. They will be right there. They know when to win. This team is really experienced. They won the Premier League so many years as a group. They have a very experienced manager. So I don't think Manchester City is really worrying right now, to be honest. Yeah, but we're going to step away, from that game. The game the early kickoff game yesterday. Spurs. After scored that goal, think Brennan Johnson scored that goal in the first 3rd minute, opening 5th minute of the game. And from this, I think right after the first goal scored, for Tottenham in that game, Wolves could have gone 2-1 up in the first 25 minutes of the game, but they just didn't take their chances, and in the second, I think after the 15 minutes of the first half, they kind of took the game over, to be honest. They started to play their famous type of game on the wing. This French, he's a left back, but he initially was playing at like a wing back type. They were playing like 2 left back at the time, Anit Nouri and the Korean, Kwang, both of those players were excellent yesterday. And they have another player, I think, his name is Belgrade, something like that. For Tottenham. Tell you, no, for my bad, for Wolves, his name, he was really good. This player, he's from Haiti. Wow, I didn't know he's from Haiti. Jean Resnier, Belgrade. He's played excellent yesterday. This player, he's very aggressive. He rough up, Bissouma and the rest of Tottenham midfielder them, to be honest, he's a really good player. But I was initially watching him, I was thinking, maybe this player, he's a French, he's kind of a French name, but just to see Wolves, came back and scored those 2 goals, in extra. I think 1 goal in the 90th minute and another goal, I think, in the 96th minute, hasta la vista, for big Ange boys. Tottenham is the wheels start falling off. Tottenham gets slapped in them face twice. I think Chelsea beat them. I think that was a Monday night football. Yeah, I think it was a Monday night football. They got beaten, by Chelsea 4-1. Remember that game. But this Tottenham team, though, they're still a really good team, to be honest. They have a really good manager, but they have quite a few players, out, injured. The big center half, the Argentinian Romero, he's serving a match ban. Richarlison is still out. Van de Ven is going to be out. Salaman is out. Madison is out. Perisic. Others that it's just fringe players. But they have some the players that really are going to be out by injury. It's a long-term thing, to be honest. Perisic is next year May, as he's a cruciate ligament. Madison's an ankle injury that says midway January. That's so long. And Van de Ven, the center half that they bought from in the Belgian Pro League, he's going to be out. until early January. Richarlison is late December. Romero, when you get a red card in the Premier League, that's 3 match suspension. But yeah, Tottenham though, they've been kind of woeful defensively, as their main players, Romero and Van der Ven is those stand out in their back line. Those players that, holding up the glue, for the team. But Madison, the one that created the most chances in the Premier League, are they going to struggle to score goals? No. Let's see what's going to happen, with Tottenham, but they're still right up here in the table, they're still like 4 points, still 4 points, after leader Manchester City, in fourth position, so let's see, what's going to happen after the international break, see if they can sharp up things, but it won't get any easier than that, when you're going to play home to Aston Villa and then away to Manchester City and then London Derby against West Ham and then you play Newcastle at home. So yeah, it's going to be a tough month, coming in the December period after the transfer, after the international break for Spurs, but going to move on. But I think I want to touch something, on Wolves. Wolves played a couple of games this season. That first game against United, that game against Sheffield, when Sheffield came back from 1-0 down and beat them. I think another game got slipped away from them. That Aston Villa, the Midlands Derby. So this Wolves team have been playing real good. Even that Crystal Palace defeat, a month ago at Sellers Park 3-2, they've been playing really good, to be honest. And Gary O'Neill is like they found a new way, just like how Nuno Santos used to have this team a few years back. Exactly how, Wolves team is going to play. But I think they're kind of finding back that chemistry, under this new manager. So let's see, where Wolves go from here. They will play away. They will have 2 big games after the international break, away to Fulham and away to Arsenal. Yeah, that's it. Their next 2 games after the international break. But, move on to the Reds, the Skulls, Liverpool, Mo Salah, with a brace, 200 goals for the club. Big achievement for Mo Salah. Most people, if you ask most people, probably 5-6 years ago, if Mo Salah is going to score over 200 goals for Liverpool in his career for this club, most people would say no, because after that Bismal start, he got at Chelsea, in the Premier League, have to go back to the Italian Serie A, to Rome, and then come back and, prove himself to people. But, Mo Salah have been doing it consistently, to be honest, for Liverpool. He's been scoring goals and goals. Starting off the season, he was having a little bit of issue, trying to find the back of the net. But initially, I think after the season started to move on and he's just to find back his form, he was assisting, his players. He was looking out for his player and he was building up plays for his teammates. And, that's a good attitude for, an experienced man. Could he do that probably 5 years ago? I'm not sure. You see Marcus Rashford is struggling right now. You see many players, Raheem Sterling even having issues, after leaving Manchester City, having problems scoring goals. So Mo Salah do what Mo Salah did, earlier this season, just assist, get his players in teammates in the game, and give them and set up goals for them. But Mo Salah is scoring goals left, right, and center right now, for Liverpool. So let's see where Liverpool can go from here. But the first goal though, it was a trademark goal, from Mo Salah, and surprisingly, Mo Salah scored a header. This man don't really score headers, and Diego Jota, he left the best goal for last. It's a screamer. This player is a very versatile player for Jurgen Klopp team. I think McAllister is out for the first time since the season started. I think he got I think that red card he got. I think he's serving a suspension. But yeah, but Jota is one of those key players, I think, for Liverpool, that's going to be that difference. He can play anywhere in that front three as a striker, left wing, right wing. He could play as a number 10, and Jota always picked up those odd goal, whenever his team needed. And just before the goal, he scored the third goal of the game, you could probably, sense a little fear that, Brentford is going to get that goal, as Liverpool, they just like to concede goal. But, unfortunately, Brentford didn't took the opportunity. Brentford could have really get the first goal of the game, in the first fifth, and I think it was in the opening 5th minute of the game, they got that chance, but they just didn't score, But Brentford's still a good team, but I think they will do well right now with some Ivan Toney goals, but let's, and the big game right after the international break, Liverpool will play Manchester City. It will be a lunchtime UK kickoff time, right after the international break, so I can't wait for that one. I can't wait for that one, that big game. So yeah, everyone know that, for the last couple of years now, Liverpool and Manchester City is the blockbuster game. It's no more United and Arsenal, no more Liverpool and United. It's Manchester City and Liverpool is that blockbuster game whenever that fixture is going to be called. Everyone wants to see that game. So yeah, it's going to be on Saturday, November 25th, right after the international break. Play away at the Etihad Stadium. But next game, going to move on, from Liverpool. I think they sit 1 point, behind Manchester City. I think they will be there, but I think this is not a it's not a full strength Liverpool team that, probably like 3 years ago that push on and go almost 100 points with Manchester City. But, they will be hanging on a limb, trying to survive to keep up with the champions. But I feel like, Arsenal is a team that in the league right now, outside of Liverpool, is best equipped, to run down Manchester City, but they themselves, kind of not playing their best football right now. So, let's see, to be honest, I start to judge teams, when it comes on to January. That's when I start to judge team like, is this team going to challenge Manchester City in the January time, when right after that busy Christmas period where you play like, 5 games in December? So right after that, players their legs will be very weary and stuff like that. So yeah, after January, who is going to be that really that contender to challenge Manchester City coming next year. Going to move on, from that Liverpool game, going to shift gear, neighboring parish, Manchester, United, man, 1-0 victory. 1-0 victory, a 1-0 Bob Marley over New Boys, Luton Town. This game initially, you look at this game, to be honest, as a United standpoint, it was a really comfortable game for United. I feel like, if this was a United team that was clicking probably last season when, Rashford is scoring, Bruno Fernandes is scoring, Casemiro is playing well, Luke Shaw is bombing forward on that left-hand side, Wan-Bissaka is going up on that right side. I think could have easily dismissed this Luton Town team to their probably 4 or 5 goals, but Luton Town, I have to really applaud Luton Town, after that. I would say probably the first 10 games of the season, they've been like, they kind of finding their mojo, first time in the Premier League and all of that, you're going to probably be a little bit starstruck, because you see big players, you're going to some grounds that you just see on TV, most of Luton Town players played in League One, League Two, and even National League, so they don't used to the atmosphere like this. But now you could see that, Rob Edwards, the Luton Town coach, is kind of finding that rhythm of his team. They're playing really good. They might not picking up points consistently, but they're playing well consistently. I think right after, that game, they won at Goodison Park. I think they won that game 2-1. I think they won that game 2-1. Right after that game, they've been playing excellent, to be honest. They've been finding their feet on the ground. But they got a few looking, at Old Trafford yesterday. They got a few lookings, but I don't think, it was like, clear-cut chances. But United again was poor, to be honest. The captain, he was poor. He was he was doing this all game. The captain, I don't want to call his name right now. He was doing this all game. He do this more than how he kick the football and argue with his mouth in the referee name, in the referee ears like a mosquito, So he's been poor, even though he's the one that creating chances, and he's one that created the most chances in the Premier League since he debuted for United, a couple of January window ago now. So, but he's just not consistent. He's not that proper footballer. You see like Kevin De Bruyne, you could see like Eva Martin Odegaard. You see these players, when you look at them, they are a proper footballer. You see the kid at Chelsea, Cole Palmer. You could see these players, they are proper footballer. United captain, he just like to hold on to the ball. Like if he gives someone the ball, he's like telling, like the simple pass is right there, but you're not leading by example. So when you have a leader, is not competent enough, the team is going to follow their leader, and that's what been happening in the midfield. Man United midfield is really poor. No one is in there. Mason Mount played one of his okay game. It's okay, not best. It's okay game of the season so far. He played with a lot of energy. Why Marcus Rashford can't sit on the bench? Ten Hag need to take some kids, from the youth academy and push them into the first team. What? Just like what Matt Busby used to do, in the 50s and the 60s for United. Bring up players like Bobby Charlton and Matt Moore and all these players, in the United system. Alex Ferguson did it, with the 92 with Giggs, Beckham, Scholes, the Neville brothers, he did it. So, bring up some kids, it happened in Louis Van Gaal era when United was struggling, to field a striker. They brought up young Rashford and he scored a brace. I think it was his debut was on Michelin, and then he scored in the Premier League at Arsenal. So yeah, let's see some kids, man, coming through. The first team players, they're just not cutting it, and you could see that United is way short. They short on wingers and strikers. Rasmus Hojlund, he went down, grabbing his under his thigh. Man United striker haven't scored a goal yet in the Premier League. What's going on? And Anthony, he just looked like a clown, swirling around with the ball at his feet at all times. Just can't beat a man 1v1. Rafael Varane, is he out of favor at United and at Eric Ten Hag? Normally, Harry Maguire will be sitting on the bench. He will be sitting on the bench, man, watching, Rafael Varane and Lindelof peering at the centre back position. What's going on? But after the international break, United will have 2 massive away games. Away to Everton at Goodison Park, and we'll play that game against Galatasaray in Istanbul. Anyone lose that game can probably pack them bag and leave, but it's still not going to be over mathematically. Even if United lose, I think if United lose that game, let's see. Let's see the Champions League. See how United Champions League group. So United is in last position. Yeah. So if Galatasaray beat us, they will be on 7 points. United will be on 3. So that will be hasta la vista for United. But if United beat Galatasaray, is that what I just said? If Galatasaray beat United, they will go and advance. To the run of 16. If Bayern Munich can beat Copenhagen and Galatasaray get that 3 points. But if United beat Galatasaray, it still say that Man United will be on 6, Galatasaray will be on 4, just 2 points behind. United next game in the Champions League run of 6 will be home to Bayern Munich. So they will play a Bayern Munich team that's already advanced to the run of 16. So probably see a weaker Bayern Munich team. Who knows? But in the Champions League, it's not a given, for no team. But going to move on, from United, but United is one of those informed teams. They said, I think, the best informed team in the Premier League, so far. I think their last 5 games in the Premier League, they won 6. So, yeah, last team to beat United in the Premier was Man City. Outside of that, it was that 1-0 defeat September the 30th against Crystal Palace at home. Moving on, the North London, the Gunners, the Gunners have a little scared in the first hour of the game, that 3-1 win to over the 3-1 win, for the Gunners, over Burnley, at Emirates, that that Trossard goal, man. When you see a player, put their body on the line to score, goals like that, you have to really give them credit. That Zinchenko goal is like a karate kick. William Saliba, scored, but initially when that Brownhill, scored that goal, what they call the Burnley supporters, the Clarets, I think the Clarets, something like that they call them. They were going crazy, at the Emirates, as right after he scored though, with Saliba, I think came back and scored that header, to go 2-1, and then Zinchenko put the icing on the cake, but it was a little scared for Arsenal. But yet again though, I think Burnley got that opportunity in the game. I think it should go. I think that they got that chance. That number 7, I remember his name. But they got that opportunity though to go 2-1 in the game, and they missed it. They missed the opportunity to put themselves ahead of the Gunners, but it just didn't work. But yeah, but as I said earlier, Arsenal is one of those teams that well equipped, to run down a Manchester City. But Arsenal have a few players, injured, Smith Rowe is injured, Jesus, Timber, Odegaard, Partey, key players, but we know Arsenal for teams that, over the years been scoring cute goals, bounce the ball nicely, pass it around, but all 3 goals came by set pieces. That Zinchenko last goal, it came, I think it was a corner and the ball come back up. The William Saliba one, it's a corner kick. And the Trossard one is a set piece. So all 3 goals for the Gunners, scored on a set piece. Never seen that before at the Emirates. So yeah, but going to move on, from North London, going to go to the Cherries, Bournemouth, beat the Magpies 2-0 at the Vitality Stadium. I was watching that game and I was like, no one even want to score. Both teams got so much opportunity to score. Bournemouth themselves got so many one-on-one. Even Justin Kluivert got so much goals. Solanke, he was poor in the game. To be honest, he got so many touches in the box where he could have just easily done a snapshot and try to score from a one touch. But even though he scored a brace, but he should have easily scored at Newcastle. This Newcastle team look really leggy. They look really tired. You could see that Champions League football is really catching up on Newcastle. After having played in the Champions League for what? I think since 2002, the last time they played in the Champions League. So yeah, over 2 decades now, Newcastle haven't played in the Champions League. So, but they themselves have, quite a few players injured. Isak, both strikers didn't play. When you have player like, Almiron, Joelinton, and Garden trying to play as that false number 9, it's always going to be struggle to score goals, to be honest. And then, Tonali is not in the team, but when they have, Wilson, Isak, Burns, Anderson, Barnes, Murphy, Target, Botman, and then Tonali suspension, it's this is like a starting 11 team. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 9 players out, 9 first team players out, so they barely could feel, some players on the bench. They have over 4 players from the academy, in the team, but Newcastle started. You have to remember, Newcastle started the season really bad. Newcastle had some really tough matches, at the start of the Premier League. When right after they played that first game of the season when they beat Aston Villa 5-1, but they played City after they lose that game. They played Liverpool after they lose that game. They go away to Brighton, lose that game. So they are, and then they still have to be playing in the Champions League, play that, in San Siro against AC Milan, play that home to PSG, losing back-to-back against Dortmund. So, those Champions League games going to take a really hit, on those player legs, especially when you can't really rotate your players that much. So Eddie Howe have some big job to do, up there in Newcastle. Almiron, is that a long-term injury for Miguel Almiron? Let's see. Like say not London is red, Tottenham take 2 punches at them face. But yeah, Eddie Howe, is going to try to find back that, mojo that he found, after that first 5 game he played in the Premier League, and try to get back, the team back on a rhythm, but it's not going to get easy for me for Newcastle, the Magpies. After the international break, Newcastle will play home to Chelsea. You see what Chelsea is doing right now, against big teams, and then they play, away in France at the Parc des Princes, against Paris Saint-Germain. They will play home to United. They will go away to Goodison Park. Newcastle really don't have a good time at Goodison Park, over the years. They always, lose some of those games, but and then they will play Tottenham away. They will play AC Milan in round 6, and then they have that game against Fulham, Chelsea. So it's going to be a big, it's going to be a big December for Eddie Howe. And in the January, should he go in the market and try to sign a midfielder? He saw what that they're trying to do, that boycott, that Ruben Neves, deal that they're saying that, because of same ownership, can't loan a player. So yeah, it's all political reason, because they're owned by some Saudis. But yeah, Eddie Howe got clipped by his whole team, Bournemouth. So Adan Iraola, the Spanish coach, got his second win, of the campaign for Bournemouth. Bournemouth final out of the relegation zone. That's their second win, 3 draws and 6 defeats. So, see what's going on, see if they can continue that farm. But another team that, keep grinding out results, keep, I would say, keep trying to be consistent as much as they can at home. I think they have one of the best home record, I think, outside of Manchester City. Aston Villa beat Fulham United 3-1, at Villa Park. Watkins with a goal. Anthony Robinson, the American, scored a own goal. The Scottish Messi, Jean McGinn, again, with another goal. Watkins with his 6th goal of the season, assist by Reggae Boy International, Leon Chippy Bailey, Bala, Leon Bailey, but, Leon Bailey been, I would say, it's been that player that's always coming off the bench and try to change, the game for Aston Villa. He's been that game changer. Unai Emery, he's not a manager, since he arrived at Aston Villa. He's not chop and change a lot of players. He's keeping that solid core. So he's keeping that CM11, as much as possible in the Premier League, and have a set level, for the conference league, that European league that they're playing. So, but Fulham play really good, last season, but I just don't know what's going on. But when you take out a Mitrovic out of the team, when you have a player that can score over 10 goals in the Premier League, and you have him, and then you have backup striker, Raul Jimenez and Vinicius, it's just not good enough, And Raul Jimenez, the Mexican, got that late goal. Talking of him, he got that late goal, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough, for the London team, the West London team, But Aston Villa, I think, have one of the best, as I was saying, one of the best home record in the Premier League. They're fifth they're fifth in the league when it comes down to home record. Yeah, they're fifth in the league. So let's see where Aston Villa could finish, because they got that last European spot last season, and they are in fifth position right now. You could see that the gap, between first and fifth, between fifth, go down from the sixth, go down United, Newcastle, there's a little gap right there. So it's a 4-point gap, but Manchester City is kind of separating themselves from the bunch, from that fourth position. So, Liverpool and Arsenal, Joel, you have to be really consistent this season, try to keep up with Manchester City. But I have to hurry up because, my game is going on. The jungle has been playing right now, Arnett Garden. Been playing that West Kingston derby. That's a big game, but I have to do the Premier League podcast. But talking about Aston Villa, whoa, Arnett Gardens under 1-0. Whoa. Yeah, West Ham, got that late goal. Ward-Prowse again with a double assist in the game. That's his fifth assist of the season. And not to be called up by Gareth Southgate. What the hell is going on? Why James Ward-Prowse is not in the team? I don't know why. He picked Alexander Trent as a midfielder. He picked Alexander Trent as a midfielder in the team. That's crazy. That is really crazy, to be honest. He picked Alexander Arnold. Trent, Jude. Well, I don't think. But they said Jude Bellingham is out until an international break. So let's see if Jude Bellingham going to pull out. Conor Gallagher, Conor Gallagher played really good today. Jordan Henderson, he's in the Saudi Arabia, man, getting money, 700,000 a week, still getting picked for England. While you have James Ward-Prowse doing it against the big teams in the Premier League, I don't know. Is Jordan Henderson really better than James Ward-Prowse? I don't know. Who is in this team, otherwise from, Kieran Trippier, James Maddison is out. James Maddison is going to be out because he's injured. Who is a really good free kick taker? A set piece taker? I don't know. Others from James Ward-Prowse is one of the best. He's one of the best in the business in the league. But West Ham United, man, got that win. They got that win that they wanted. It's been a while, since the Hammers won a game, at home in the Premier League. Last time they won a game in the Premier League at home, it was back in September the 30th, against Sheffield United. They beat Arsenal in the Carabao Cup at home. They beat Olympiacos, Thursday gone. Thursday gone in the Europa League 1-0. But they have a really sticky game, I would say, 50-50 away to Turf Moor, playing Burnley, and then they will square off against Topaka Topolo. I think that's a Serbian team in the Europa League, but West Ham, I think they jumped back up in the league. I think they were at 11 outside of the top half. Now they're in the top. No, they were initially in the bottom half of the table. Now they're in the top half at 9th position, and 17 points. But yeah, I think all of those goals, single set pieces. That Souček, that Souček winner, but Nottingham Forest been playing really good, to be honest. They've been playing really good, excellent football, but Souček replied to the manager after being dropped out of the starting lineup for the last couple of games, in the Premier League. So, but another disappointed game again, Brighton, I don't know what's going on with Brighton team. After beating Ajax Thursday gone, come back home, playing against a very weak Sheffield team. And, they drew that game 1-1. there's, I think, Dingara, I think that's his name, scored the first goal in the first 6 minutes. And, the German, Dawood, he got a red card in the 68th minute. And I think 5 minutes after, Adam Webster scored on his own team, left the Blades walk away, from the Amex with a point. The last game of the Prem Podcast, episode 10 before the international break. Big up Sean Dice, the man with the grumpy voice, beating Right Addison Crystal Palace at Shellers Park 3-2. Big result there, for the Toffees. They're celebrating right now, on the Merseyside, going into the international break. 2 goals scored in the first 5th minute, Michael Lenko, the Ukrainian, in the first seconds, in the game, and he scored. And then Eze, the big man over there in Crystal Palace, and Dokorian Gaye, Adrisa Gaye, scored off the 3 goals, for Everton. They got that 3 points at Sellers Park, that lift them up in the table at 14 points. Wow. Sean Dice is doing really good. He's played the last 6 games, lose 1 and draw 1 and win 4 out of 8. Wow, in our competition, that's really good for Sean Dice. He's playing really good. But yeah, people, this is the end of the Prem Podcast as we're going into the international break. Some mouth-watering game, in the international break. Brazil will play Argentina, I think November the 21st. That game is going to be a bang. Anywhere those 2 teams meet, it's always elbow loose. That game was square off in Brazil, at 7:30. I know I won't. I'm not going to even watch that game. I'll be watching the Jamaica versus Canada, man. Both leg coming up. First game, November the 17th at the National Stadium. Then the second leg will square off in Toronto. Cold Toronto. But yeah, people, thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting Nick at the Media Host and the Prem Podcast. I'm going to go over there right now and watch my team. The Junglist Arnett Garden, trying to look back for that goal. Watch that West Kingston derby, man. Big game right there, But yeah, thanks for watching. This is Nikada Media House. Salute, people. Bless up on yourself. We will be back here again, for that big game. Remember that after the international break, it will be the blockbuster game. Liverpool will play away to City at the Etihad Stadium. Lunchtime kickoff, UK time, I think it's November the 27th, something like that. But November the 25th, November the 25th. Yeah, people. I would say probably, in less than 4 hours will be my birthday. Another 365 days running on planet Earth. It's going to overlap again, in due course. Always give thanks for life and strength. Bless upon yourself, people.